see what happens. Now this bird here, the small one, is called a hooded vulture, and her name is Veronica. Very nice, Veronica. Then we've got, behind her we've got Victoria, and then Vinny, and they're three hooded vultures. And here come all the big ones. Now because there's so many of them, I'll have to kind of wait till they kind of spread out a bit to tell you who's who. But the big ones are called Ruppel's griffin vultures, Ruppel's griffin vultures, and the small ones are called hooded vultures. This one here is our breeding male, and he's called Dad. Behind him is Foster, that's for you. Incoming is our breeding female, she's called Mum. There, we've got a hooded vulture. Now if we look at this one coming across the pond, it's a juvenile Ruppel's griffin vulture. It's Mum and Dad's baby from 3 years ago. She's called Vivian. And these birds breed quite often here at the zoo. We think that flying them together helps them to bond and breed. And their chicks have gone to places like Colchester Zoo and London Zoo, and lots of different zoos around the country. There we are. His feathers are falling out. This one. And you can see who's in charge. The little ones are the bullies, actually, in this group. The tiny vultures boss the big ones around. Now, a lot of people think vultures are ugly, and I know this because I've stood here with vultures and people have said, "Cor, isn't he ugly?" And did they? I thought for a while they were talking about me. You don't need to laugh at that, but people do think vultures are ugly, and one of the reasons why people think vultures are ugly is because they're bald. But is being bald ugly? Because when you're a vulture, your head is often buried in your work, and having a bald head helps you to stay nice and clean. But also, these big vultures have got a long neck. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Okay. These big vultures have got a long neck, and do you know what? This one's just a scavenger. It's just looking for a bit of grub. You all right? Are you scared of the birds? Don't be scared. No, I'm not scared. I'm not scared. They won't hurt you. All right, you're copying your sister. These vultures, especially the little ones, are very nosy, and they'll just come through and have a little look around and see you. And their bald heads help them stay clean, but these little vultures, and you might want to watch this, if you see one of these little ones under your seat and they've got a red face, it means they're excited or in love. Alright, so be very careful if you see one of these that looks like it's in love, because it might just, you might have just pulled the vulture at the zoo, you never know. Now as they soar around, look at that one soaring up there. Those wings are built for long distance soaring flights, a bit like we did with our eagle this morning. And for me, a vulture is as graceful as any eagle. They're just as graceful. They're quite beautiful birds. One of the things that people say about vultures is they're horrible because they eat dead things. But have you ever been to a barbecue and eaten something live? You know, humans eat dead things, and at least when a vulture is eating a horse, it knows it's eating a horse, right? Which I'm not sure whether you do. But we might think they're ugly, and we might think that what they eat is disgusting, but having vultures around is very important because their heads are often buried in their work and they're keeping the place clean, they're recycling. We humans have only recently cottoned on to recycling as a way of keeping our world clean. Maybe, you know, if we all took a leaf out of the vulture's book and did a bit more recycling ourselves, then maybe our world would be